Folks, we are reaching the final stages of the 2026 Causeway Challenge International Scrabble Tournament from Bangkok, Thailand, with almost 450 players competing and over half of the top 100 ranked players in the world. It is one of the toughest and most prestigious tournaments in recent memory, and that makes it all the more incredible that the player in the lead at the end of day 3 is the 15-year-old Madhav Gopal Kamath of India, the world's youngest grandmaster and the reigning World Youth Scrabble champion. Most of his opponents have been playing for much longer than he's been alive. This is an incredible performance by the Indian youngster. But the other headline at the end of day 2 was, can David Eldar or Nigel Richards make a run at this thing? The two top seeds in the event were much further down in the standings at the end of day 2, and in the case of David Eldar, the answer is yes, he can and has made a run. With a phenomenal day 3, he finds himself just one game out of the lead with 6 to go, and in the case of Nigel, a tough day 3 leaves him in 24th place heading into the final day. That's going to be too steep of a hill to climb even for him. That makes things incredibly wide open at the top. At the end of day 2, two Americans were in first and second place in the standings, Dave Weigand and Jason Keller, and those two did battle in round 21 to kick things off on the day 3 live stream, and this was an absolutely incredible game. You can see here Dave playing by form in the mid game for 51 points, his clear best play. Great play by him, but this is going to have reverberations in the late game, as we will shortly see. Jason, with 2 tiles in the bag, is down by 20 on turn with the second blank in hand, and he can bingo here and does with fibbers for 71 points to go up by 50. Things looking very, very grim for Dave heading into this endgame. Jason now has 2 tiles on his rack in the H and the N, and the first order of business for Dave is to figure out, can he go out with those 2 tiles? And the answer is yes, but in only one spot. Through the T and E on the board, he can play then as an outplay, so Dave wisely blocks that with a very high scoring play of X for 38. From Jason's perspective, Dave can only go out with something like lungs for not that good of a score, and he's going to be able to outrun that just by playing his H pretty much anywhere. So he decides to play the Collins 2-letter word CH here for 11 points. That's going to outrun Dave's plays of lungs or slung, and that's going to do it for this game. Except Dave's play of by form takes a handful of really obscure hooks, and in this position, Jason appears to have overlooked the nubiform extension, extending by form for 45 points to the triple. Dave plays this to absolutely stun Jason, and after this, Jason cannot score enough with his leftover N to overtake Dave. He challenges the word to make absolutely sure it's good, and when it comes back valid, Dave Weigand steals an absolute classic on the live stream by an 8-point margin. As if that were not enough, in the very next round for Dave Weigand against Grandmaster Akshay Bandarkar, he finds himself in another incredibly tense late game battle here. After playing his X for 44 points to take a solid lead, he's probably feeling pretty good, but Akshay comes up with a really good plan to try to steal this game. He plays Hick for 28 points, setting himself up to go out next turn with Biner or Brine in the top left quadrant of the board, and also blocking Dave's spot where he surely wanted to play his V with that. Really, really nice idea. This leaves Dave with one and only one winning play, and with his time ticking down to its final seconds, he cannot spot it. Drokes through OK on the board is the only way for Dave to win this game against optimal play, saving the V and S to play Voss and Pyros in a spot that Akshay will struggle to block productively. Instead, with his clock ticking down, Dave does really well to play Rocks, blocking both of the outplays and saving himself for one more turn. This should lead to a tie game, but once again, there's only one optimal sequence from Akshay's point of view now, and that is to play in for 16 points, setting up to go out with Brer for 14 on the next turn. That is just enough to deliver Akshay a tie game in this scenario. Instead, with his clock ticking down, Akshay plays Jib, preparing to hook that with jibe on the next turn, but that 2-turn sequence is not enough to outrun Dave's higher scoring plays here, and Dave Weigand ends up winning this thrilling game by 2 points. Another amazing win for the North American Grandmaster. There would be no more theatrics for Dave in his next game after this against Madhav, the Phenom from India, as Madhav bingos early and often in this one to leave absolutely no doubt with an enormous blowout win in round 23. The story of the day, Madhav Gopal Kamath, who played such good Scrabble on the live stream, absolutely incredible at just 15 years of age. Check out this 3-turn sequence in his round 25 game against the top Malaysian expert Darren Koo. In this relatively even game, he first bingos with a blank J with Jaravais for 108 points, and on the very next turn makes a fantastic hooking play of the very tricky chiasma, setting up the second S he has in reserve, and then extending it on the very next turn with scrawl for 56. This is amazing word finding and play generating ability from the youngster as he continues his onslaught in this game to win by over 200 points. In the next round, round 26, the unstoppable force met the immovable object as Madhav took on David Eldar on his rampage up the standings. And here, Madhav with a fantastic bingo in the late game, holding 2 O's and 2 U's, nevertheless finds Tumorous for 80 points. After a challenge from David just to make sure, he's facing a tough spot with some good bingo tiles here and now 2 wide open spaces on the board. So David makes a really astute play. He just plays Brad, saving the anger leave, and he's hoping for a bingo that's going to play in both of the 2 newly opened spots. And Madhav is saddled with 7 consonants, depending on how you define the Y. Either way, this is not a good situation for him, looking into a pool with a lot of unseen bingos. So he plays nth for 34, crosses his fingers that David has missed his draw, but it is not to be as David plays Oregain for 89 points to go up by just enough to squeak out a 525 to 501 endgame, a huge win for David Eldar as he continues to revive his chances. Nigel and David Eldar did actually meet on day 3 in round 22, but it was all David bingoing early and often in this game en route to a massive blowout win for David over Nigel. And then in the final round of the day, Nigel's woes continue against the leader after day 1, the Thai youngster Napat. As Napat fishes off his Z, Nigel has only 1 spot to bingo and plays Retinoid despite the risk of the potential S-hook. It's definitely the right play for him, but not only does Napat have an S, he has something even better, a triple through the K, balkiest. It's just been that kind of tournament for Nigel. It happens to everybody, even the GOAT. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't quickly run through an absolutely insane game from round 29 between Akshay Bandarkar and Darren Koo, 2 players that we've already mentioned in this recap. After an opening exchange by Akshay, Darren plays a 48-point Q play, and then the players exchange a barrage of bingos, 2 per player. Couple turns later, Darren, with the first blank in hand and good playable bingos, makes a really astute play of co-equated for 66, saving the blank for next turn when he is able to play it for 92. Then, after Akshay gets pretty close with another bingo of his own, Darren draws the second blank in the late game, fishes for unblockable bingos, and hits them en route to a final score of 604 to 511, over 1,100 points combined in this game. This is the type of game that you see when you get a lot of the world's best players in the same room. So heading into the final day and the final 6 rounds of play coming your way in just a few hours on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel, we have Madhav in first place, an incredible story at just 15 years of age, poised to take down one of the toughest Scrabble tournaments we have ever seen. But of course, we've got players like David Eldar, Dave Weigand, two players I haven't mentioned yet in this recap. Thatcha of Thailand, right there, a half game behind Madhav. Great performance by him so far, as well as Josh Castellano, my countryman, one of the top players from North America and the US. He's right there as well in fourth place. Will it be one of those top 5 players? Will someone else lurking around the top 10 make a run? We're going to find out in just a little bit over on Let's Play Scrabble. I'm going to be watching. I hope you are too. One more recap coming your way tomorrow, and that's going to do it for the 2026 Causeway Challenge. Can't wait to see what happens. I'll see you in the next one.